everything we said, I want to now reach into the thing that helps you motivate people better. And I want to talk about mindset. And I want to talk about motivation styles, because this will all pull into what we do. So let's first talk about how the brain works, how the mind works, okay? And this may be all that we get today. So remember in that video, it talked about the three lobes of the brain, and you had this logical part, okay, and then you had the two middle parts that he called the limbic brain, which is where all your emotion and all that and your emotional decisions are made in this area here. It's called your limbic brain. I think I spelled that right.
Limbic.
Limbic. There we go. Okay, that's horrible spelling. Okay. I get paid to sell, not to spell. But everything here is about emotion. Okay, and he said, not only do the circles work because of the limbic brain, it works because of it deals with emotions, and that's what drives people to make decisions. So let's look at those three areas of the brain and how they function. Number one is called your RAS, your reticular activating system. Okay, now what this is when you say, you know what I haven't seen for a while, and all of a sudden you start seeing it. You change your consciousness. You go buy a Toyota Corolla, and all of a sudden you never notice how many people have Toyota Corollas, you know? So it's what you become aware of. It's what your brain becomes aware of, okay? The next part of it is called the EEM. And the function of the EEM is to protect you, okay? It is called your emotional, experiential memory, okay? If you walk by the stove and you put your hand on the stove and you burn yourself, would you put your hand on the stove again, most likely? No. Not unless you didn't have a well-functioning EEM or you were brain dead for some reason, okay? And the final area, did I put all my things? Oh, Tony. And the final area is the PFC. It's the prefrontal cortex. So, the best way to put the prefrontal cortex is to do this. Guys who are pilots and skydivers and stuff like that, they have very active prefrontal cortex. This is what makes you go like, I got $30 in my pocket, I got a credit card, I'm going to the airport, I'm going to Hawaii. Okay? That's a prefrontal cortex. It's what makes you take risks. It's what makes you reach out. But it's also responsible for this in you. It is also what gives you hope. Okay? Okay, the EEM, because it protects you, sometimes it doesn't allow you to see hope. And then the RAS is sort of the intellectual side, which sort of evaluating everything. The person says, you know, I'm really overweight, and man, that's not going to be good for me, and I got a wedding coming up. Now we're moving into the emotional part. Man, I could look really good at the wedding, you know. But your EEM says, well, you know, you don't have time for that. It tries to logic why we wouldn't change our habits. So this is the three functioning parts of the mind that we'll get to understand more. Now let's see how they come into mindset. So let's classify people into three motivational styles. Okay? The first one I know I misspelled this, but remember, made to sell, not to spell. Who's the thoroughbred? The elite athletes you guys all want to train, right? Mm-hmm. This is Paul Rice. This is Paul Rice. This is the guy that walks in and says, I'm out of shape. I ran 6 miles today.
Killing himself.
Biked 26. swam 2. You're going to go, what the hey? Right? Okay. Then there is, go another color, the phoenix. How many of you guys remember Greek mythology from high school and stuff?
I do.
Do you remember what the phoenix was?
No.
Okay,
The bird.
The phoenix was the bird. The bird that would
Die.
go in the ashes, die, and then come out of the ashes and live 500 more years, and then come back and die again, okay? This is the person that says, when I was in high school, okay? And the final one is a chrysalis. Okay? What's a chrysalis? Do you know? Okay, so the chrysalis is that stage from being a caterpillar to going to a butterfly. This is a chrysalis. Okay? So the chrysalis, when it last looked in the mirror, was a caterpillar. And it spins its weave, and it has no idea what it's going to do. So what do you think, in these categories, which one of these do you think has the highest amount of hope to it? The highest amount of understanding of what fitness can deliver to it?
Chrysalis. No.
Jeremy, care to guess? Care to guess?
Thoroughbred.
Thoroughbred. Okay? It is the thoroughbred. And here's why. It's because they've benefited from it. They know, they walk around and go like, yeah, you know what, I don't have to worry as much what I eat because, you know, I'm really doing good. Now, what's the chrysalis? The chrysalis is the person that has failed. So, I mean, the perfect chrysalis that we have is Andrea Goodwin. Perfect chrysalis. She's working out. She's showing up every time, but she doesn't make the next step to her diet. You know why? Because she's failed so many times. She's successful right now, and her mind is so successful because she's being successful at working out. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, our job, going back to a great coach, is to motivate her to the next step, to get her to the point where she says, you know what, I can change this part of my eating. Because she thinks when she goes to change it, she's going to fail. Because who's talking to her? Her EEM. Her EEM is saying, you know, don't do that. You haven't died. Look, you're lucky you haven't died exercising. Make sure that you don't die working out and eating right too. Mm-hmm. Look, you're still doing good. So here, they don't understand, don't have hope. Okay? So that's why on that side of the page there, on the workout sheets, on the progress on the fly, when they do something, they say, man, I had a great weekend this weekend. I went out skating with my husband. We had a birthday party. You want to write that down. You want to remind them about that, because now we start to build their hope, because we have to overcome that EEM that's protecting them. Mm-hmm. Now, the Phoenix, they have sort of a mixture. They have a mixture, understanding that they understand that they can get hope. So they have probably a little higher PFC than they do EEM. But the EEM, when they make significant changes, will come back and snatch them and pull them back. Okay? So hope is very high. Understanding what you accomplish is very high. Chrysalis is the hardest to motivate. They're the ones that have failed at diets. They've gotten hurt working out. They're afraid to make the next challenge. They're afraid to work out hard because their friend got hurt at a gym. Okay? When Jeff Lockwood first got here, he was very definitely a chrysalis with a Phoenix support. He's a Phoenix now because you know what? He had worked out at Valley and Goals and got hurt at both of them. So he went 2 years here before he ever started to work out one-on-one. He's a Phoenix now. He's now starting to understand what he can get back to. But he's still fighting the chrysalis part because you can't get him to change his diet because he understands so much about eating.
Pizza.
Yeah. So any questions to this point?
No, that's good.
Okay. Answer questions, give you an idea. The biggest thing I want to emphasize to you is that you have to watch the intensity that you push people at. You have to coach them to their action, and you have to watch that. Because here's what you don't want. You don't want to be pushing someone and all of a sudden, I mean, if you got a person that's on blood pressure medication, you're pushing them, and you're working so hard, they vasodilate, they may pass out on you. Okay? And you guys all have your certifications now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No. Okay, we need to make sure Dawn knows to get us our certification so he gets, because you want to have that. You know, you want to be able to understand, and you want to watch what a client's doing. And you know, listen, they have ego just like they do, like anybody does. And here's the biggest separation between an experienced trainer and being a beginning trainer that really wants to do a great job, is that your working knowledge of how to get intensity out of people, which we'll deal with in our sessions here, is limited to your own experience. It's not with a lot of other people. So how you compensate for that is you want to give a great workout because you want them to know that you care. So how do you compensate? You give longer workouts. You do more little things that I discovered this in my workout today. Let me do this with him. It may or may not be appropriate, but you're pushing beyond it. So I tell you to stick to the card. And as I said, I'll start to do some high intensity methods that are extra little things to do that you can do. Because right now probably force negatives is about the biggest thing you do, and static holds. Well, there's other little things that we can do that'll work. But the aspect of taking a person there, controlling their breathing and getting them to work hard and coaching them to that point is the biggest thing. And I think those questions I gave you is asking a person and telling a person, hey, listen, I'm going to try and get you back to that 8. You let me know how you're going. Like, I'll give you a good example. Mickey Dowse. Now, she won't make it in today because she called and she played a big tennis match today, okay? All right? So you talk to Mickey and you got all fired up about working a second time. And you explain to her that she needs to work a little harder. Well, so you brought her along because you built a trusting relationship with her. She knows you care. So now she wants to work a little harder. Now feels like she's so knowledgeable about stuff. It's